Major funding for these programs is made possible by grants from Chase Commercial Term Lending, New York Community Bank, Capital One Bank, Perfect Building Maintenance, M&T Bank, Customers Bank, Genova Burns, Terra CRG, Meridian Capital Group. Additional support is made possible by AKA Hotels Corman Communities, Aerial Property Advisors, AVR Realty Company, Bank of America Merrill Lynch, Bank Leumi USA, Briarwood Organization, CBRE, Citizens Bank, Colliers International NYC, Collins Building Services, CPEX Real Estate Services, Cushman & Wakefield, Dime Savings Bank of Williamsburg, Douglaston Development, Levine Builders, Eastern Union Funding, Fisher Brothers, First Nationwide Title Agency, Flushing Bank, Friedman, Handler Real Estate Organization, HAP Investments, Hersha Hospitality, Hodges Ward Elliott, Inc., Investors Bank, James D. Kuhn Real Estate Center at Syracuse University, Kilroy Architectural Windows, Madison Realty Capital, Matone Group, Mercantile Commerce Bank, New Banks, Newmark Grubb Knight Frank, Optimum Window Manufacturing Corp., People's United Bank, Rosewood Realty Group, SJP Properties, Sterling National Bank, Stonehenge Partners, TD Bank, The Continuum Company, the Moynihan Group, and these friends.
The mountains. You know what? Roads. Orbachs. I'm going to be involved with haberdashery. Nah, I'll go to Butler in Indiana, I think, not Ohio. Nah, Barbara and I are going to get married. I'll get involved with electrical. I won't get involved with electrical. I'll grow an electrical company. I'll build an empire in an electrical company. And you know what? In addition to helping electrical, I'll really help to give back to the community. I'll get an honorary degree from Yeshiva University. And there are very few mensches and philanthropists that I could talk about, but I have them today for a long time. Thanks for being here.
Well, it's my pleasure. Thank you.
So tell me about your grandparents and how they came here. Let's start with your mother's side.
My mother's side was a Schneider, coincidentally tailors, and Ben Schneider was my grandfather. He came from Russia and established a tailor shop here in the Lower East Side.
Was he involved with the people from the Riverside?
Yes. His family, cousins of his became the owners of Riverside Chapel.
So he could have, the family could have gone into that side of the business also. It
is a wonderful business. I mean, you just can't help people from coming in.
Right. Okay. So that's Ben.
Yes.
Okay. So now let's go to the other side. Your father's side.
My grandfather was Sam. Sam, as well, was born in Russia. Came here, ended up on the east side, as most people did, and he, as I remembered, was then a push cart, and then became a good humor man. And
so he had a push cart in the Lower East Side.
Yes.
Selling schmatters or
selling fruits or vegetables or things of that.
Okay. Then he got into
the ice cream business.
Okay, and then didn't he also get into the reading meters for Con Ed, or was that?
No, that was my father.
Okay, so tell me about your dad.
My dad was raised on the Lower East Side.
Okay.
Was a member of the Boys Club, all that famous kind of...
Right, the Seward Park.
He went to Seward Park High School. That's where he met my mother, at Seward Park High School.
Okay, so mother, who was the daughter of the tailor Ben.
Yes.
How'd your mother meet your father?
Well, I never really got into the story in depth, but I know they met at school, and then my mother had gone off to work after graduating high school. My father then ended up working with, the city was lit a lot by gas lights, and he started working for the, I'm not sure if it was the Edison Company, one of those kind of companies, and that's where he would go around at night and light the
The gas lights.
gas lights, and that's what his job was.
So how did he get from that involved with electrical?
Well, I only could remember when we were talking about it that there was a natural progression that the gas became electric, and that's when he decided that this might be a good business to go into, servicing people. But these were like onesies and twosies, people's houses, people's stores, but nothing of any large nature. He would do it himself, and he would be the electrician with the pouch and the tools and go from house, word of word, mouth to mouth.
So now let's talk about you. You're born, as I said before, even though your parents lived in Brooklyn, you were born at Beth Israel Hospital in Manhattan.
Yes,
On
yes.
17th Street.
All of my siblings were born, because we used to be outside looking up at mother at the window with the babies.
When you first were born, where were you living in Brooklyn?
I was living on Montgomery Street near Lincoln Terrace Park.
Where did you go to public school originally?
I went to public school. We had moved to East 95th Street between East New York and Rutland, and I went to school PS 219.
When you were going to school, did you have any idea that you'd be involved with the electrical industry?
Well, my father at that point had established a small electrical contracting company, and I used to work there at, maybe a Saturday. So I think, like a lot of sons, the father's business was something to think about.
To think about it. Okay, so
It wasn't my main. It wasn't what I would say what I wanted to do. What I really wanted to do was be a journalist, because I was very involved with the school newspaper at junior high school, and at my high school.
So let's talk about junior high school. Which junior high school did you go
It
to?
was Winthrop Junior High.
Which was also in Brooklyn at
Yes,
this time.
Brooklyn.
Right. And then afterwards, you moved to Briarwood, right?
And we moved to Briarwood, Queens.
Okay. Before we get to Briarwood and we talk about high school, you told me that your father, with many of the people in the bungalow days, used to go up on Friday night. He went to Cutler's, right?
I remember at an early age of 9 years old, my parents would rent a bungalow up in the Catskills, South Fallsburg, and it was a very famous bungalow colony, Cutler's Cottages, and I spent all my teenage years at Cutler's. I didn't go to camp.
Right, but you also worked as a counselor.
I was a counselor. I was a lifeguard. It was a wonderful upbringing. If you could write a book, it's a great place to write a book.
It's a great place, especially a couple of things. Like on Friday, before your father would go up, was the motel on the mountain, the Big Apple Rest.
Right.
What he would do is he went to Essex Street, you said, and brought enough appetizing and other stuff.
My father was a wonderful sport, and he would go to Essex Street, Scotty's, and buy enough appetizing for a little bit of the bungalow colony, and he was so proud that he brought it up, and we would spend weekends eating.
Now, you said to me your dad, who was a little bit like a Damon Runyon type.
He was a character.
He was a character. He also enjoyed being up there because Monticello wasn't too far away.
He loved horse racing. He loved a drink, and loved playing gin rummy.
And something else you said to me, which came through to you and your family, which is one of the things that the Altheims are, philanthropic. Your father and mother were very involved up in the mountains with regard to UJA, at that time the Federation of Jewish Philanthropies.
Yes, my father mainly became very involved with love for Israel and for the Federation, and he became the Bala boss of Federation in the Cutler's cottages, raising money in the casino. And then when Monticello Raceway was built, we'd have a UJA or Federation night that he would host at the racetrack.
So it was built into the DNA later on for you.
It appears that way.
No question.
And my mother, if I may, was very busy with Hadassah, very busy with the Briarwood Jewish Center, or the Sisterhood, and she was a wonderful woman.
So now they moved from Brooklyn to Briarwood, Queens.
Yes.
And your father had a guy, Harry. What was Harry's last name?
Harry Ruskin was a crusty, angry, arrogant, but wonderful human being.
And Harry tells your mother and father, Philip should not go to public school. He should go to private school.
Right.
So
Harry's son turned out to be one of the foremost, I don't know, a surgeon in Chicago. And he went to the finest schools in the country. So Harry was very, very involved with education. He was a little more sophisticated than my mother or father. So when it came to school, he told my father, Philip should go to a private school. So here I am in Briarwood, Queens, where I would have probably gone to maybe Jamaica or someplace like that. He introduced me to Rhodes School. Something else about Harry that I have to tell you. Every birthday and every anniversary and every occasion, he would go down to 11th Street to the Italian bakery.
I know the one you're talking about on First Avenue.
Right off First Avenue, and the name leaves me at this moment, and buy the most wonderful cakes with fruits and bring them as a surprise to your house or to wherever it was. Very unique character. But so my father said, you're going to go to Rhodes.
Now, Rhodes was in Manhattan.
Rhodes was the former mansions of the Rockefellers.
So it was like off 54th Street.
It was on 54th Street next to the University Club.
And now Philip happens to get dressed to go to Rhodes. He couldn't go with jeans.
They had a
dress code.
Dress code of a tie and mostly a white shirt. And I would go to work on the subway. I go to school on the subway.
Then you got a job at Orbachs.
Well, I got finished school at 2:30, 3 o'clock, and I thought I'd do something. So I remember my father used to take me to Rogers Pete for clothes and for school. And I went to Orbachs for sometimes for clothes. So I went to Orbachs and I filled out an application because they were opening the first Ivy League shop.
Within the store.
Within the
34th
store.
Street.
At 34th
Right across the
Street.
street from our studio, right?
Right. Yes, 34th Street. And I worked there maybe 4 days a week from 3 to 6, and then I worked on Saturdays. And it was a wonderful, wonderful environment. Mr. Orbach, to this day in my mind, was one of the most sophisticated, handsome, and wonderful human being. And really walked around that store. It was almost like Selfridge, the television program that was on. And he used to drive but a driver used to drive his gorgeous Rolls Royce back then into the parking spot on 35th Street.
So you're working in Orbachs, and you're thinking of really to get involved with the haberdashery business.
Well, it was Mr. Orbach's son-in-law, Joe Kane, another really wonderful man. He took a liking to me, and I was doing very well in this little store, and tried to influence me that if you go to college, wherever you may go, and we'd like to recommend a couple to you and learn this business, come back into the business. There's a future for you here. And I guess one of the things that troubled me was I always wanted to be the journalist. And I didn't know at that age if I wanted to go into my father's business. So I thanked them, and and I gave that a quick pass.
Now, so you go to Butler University?
I made applications to many schools, was accepted in Syracuse, was accepted some small school at Lehigh, and for some reason I got accepted to Butler. And I, living in the city, living in Queens, wanted to explore what it would be like to go to school in the Midwest.
In Indiana?
In Indiana, yes, in 1959, I think.
When you were younger, you met this woman, this very attractive woman by the name of Barbara, right?
Yeah, she's beautiful.
And when did you meet Barbara?
I met Barbara when I was 16 years old, and she was 15 years old.
So you met Barbara many years ago. And
oh, my God, yes.
And then there was an unfortunate accident that her father had passed away on an auto accident.
We had been dating, pretty much so. I went off to college, and during the time of college, father was killed upstate in a terrible car crash.
So you come back, you leave.
Well, I came back because very much in love, and I wanted to be with her through this very difficult time.
And so when do you and Barbara get married? We have the pictures of your mother and father. We have you walking down the aisle.
We got married in 1961, which will be married now 55 years.
You could have gone into Orbachs, but your father says, hey, kid, my good son, maybe you should look at the electrical business, right?
Yes.
So you go to work initially.
Learning the business.
Learning the business.
To learn to be an estimator.
And at that time, the business was called A&D?
It was A&D Electric. Nice reputation. My father was a very hardworking, smart, social-like type of businessman. Had a tremendous amount of friends in the real estate business. And he had a small, comfortable business.
What happens later on? The business grows, but then you have some type of...
Well, we had some tragedies in our lives. My sister, Sandy, died at 73, at 39 years old, leukemia. My father's heart probably broke so badly that, if it happens, it happens. He died in 1975. I was in business with my brother-in-law and brother. We also owned lighting retail stores on Grand Street, which was very popular. And we tried to make a go of the business. And you might recall, I grew the business, and one of the growth area was at airports, where we were doing many of the terminals and many of the areas where people check in, Lufthansa, El Al, American, people like that. And we had a terrible oil crisis in 73, if you remember.
And people weren't traveling.
They weren't traveling, number one. Number two, if you recall, we used to line up odd days and even days.
With the gasoline, right?
And our clients were all these fuel-eating companies, and they stopped doing business. And we had a very tough financial road ahead of us. There were non-payments. And I took the company, and we tried to salvage what we could, but we couldn't. And in 1976, we took the company into a voluntary situation where we're proud that we paid.
You paid
a lot of people, 90 cents, 80 cents on a dollar. I couldn't face bankruptcy, and my brother-in-law and my brother went into the lighting business, and I continued wanting to be in the electrical contract.
Right, so then you go where?
I end up in 1976 with a great guy named Jimmy Andrews, David Coyne Electric, who taught me an awful lot, taught me a lot. And he had some personal issues. And in 1978, about 2.5 years later, my dearest, closest friend,
Alan
Flicker, who you know in the lighting business, introduced me to the Forest Company, Paul Greenblatt.
Small company at that time.
Well, at that time, in 1978, it had become smaller. Up until that time, They built the World Trade Center, two of them, not one and two. They had done the Albany Mall, and then they slowed down their business because they too, when 77, 75 hit,
The recessions and the other
tough
problems.
times.
So
So
you-
they got a smaller company, and they asked me to join them, which I did.
So you joined Forrest in
8.
78, and then Forrest, Paul sells out the company to Jamaica Water Power.
Well, it was another close friend, dear friend, Howard Hirsch, was owned by a public company called JWP, Andy Dwyer, and they approached me to leave Forrest and go work with them to grow the company. And I had sat with Andy, and I said I'd much prefer, if you want to buy a company now that's probably doing close to 75, 80 million dollars, much through my effort and Marty Hirsch, who was a great operator. And I said, why don't you just buy Forrest? Then you have me, and you have the company, you have great people.
Howard, you have the whole.
And then Howard's on the other side of it, and we could get together. And Andy, who I believe was one of the smartest persons I've ever met, offered Paul Greenblatt and his wife. Paul wanted $50 million, and Andy in the Yale Club in 3 hours set a deal up for $36 million. And he bought the company only with the understanding that Philip Altheim and Howard and Marty Hirsch have to take a contract to run the company.
And you ran this company, and I mean,
Ran the company to 2006,
right?
I believe.
But over those those 28 years, you grew a company. I mean,
Yes, we.
okay, and everyone in the New York City community and around the country knew Forrest, and they knew it was Philip. You know,
Well,
Philip,
it
no,
was
and the team.
It was the
Philip and
team, yes. I mean,
and the team, you know, that really built things. But one thing that you also did during the period of time, and that's how I met you, and it goes back to the late 70s for me, or the early 80s, you know, it was, you know, you got involved with philanthropy. You followed what Minnie and Dave taught you, right?
yes.
And you got involved to major levels of philanthropy.
Well,
I mean, Albert Einstein College of Medicine became a
19
benefactor, you know.
We, in 1973, Herb Lazar, the old Lazar company, took me up to visit the Albert Einstein Young Men's Division, where I met, and I hate to be saying this, best friends, but you know, I'm fortunate to have a great group of close friends. One of my dearest, Michael Wolf, who has passed, as you know, and I started at the Albert Einstein, where I gave $1,000, as you know, we all did, and I am still actively involved with the Albert Einstein College of Medicine, which is part of Montefiore now, and Barbara and I made a benefactor gift in 1989. I received a
honorary doctorate.
honorary doctorate at the Waldorf Astoria with a
Yeshiva
great crowd.
University, right?
Yeshiva University, which was then, Einstein was then part of that. And you and I know that some of the greatest, wonderful people were brought up inside the Einstein family.
But in addition, I mean, you've been a major leader of UJA
Oh, then,
Federation, the
yes.
campaign chairman.
Yes.
I mean, we have the picture of you and Barbara, you know, down in the South Shore division over there, being involved on that circumstance. And then, you know, as I said, State of Israel bonds, both the electrical and the national campaign.
Yes, yes. If I may, we very much. We went on a trip to Israel in 1980 with a group, which a lot of people do, and I got so connected. I remember it was Robert Klein, who I know you know, and some other people, and we just had this great time. And then I got hooked. And it doesn't take a lot.
One thing, when Philip gets hooked,
Yeah.
he continues on it. Now, after you left Forrest, you went out on your own working with some wonderful guys at Bellway Electric, right?
When I had left Forrest, rather than retire, I love my wife, but it wasn't for lunch.
Right.
I formed a new company, thinking that this would be the way of the world. Why not? And we did it in
It was 2006.
it was 2007, 2008, the two worst years in the history of the financial world and the construction industry.
Right.
So we had a very short life.
But you kept on going there, and even today you're involved with a fantastic electrical company, Hatzel Buehler.
Yeah, I was approached by Mr. Bill Goller, who was just simply one of the finest people I've met, and he asked me, what are you going to do with your life now at 74 or whatever it is? I said, I'm thinking, and he said, why don't you come and work with us? And we'll give you, you'll be a consultant. You'll come and go and what you want, and you'll help us. So I ended up with this company that's 130 years old, has offices in 8 parts of the country, northeast. I've been a left and right hand to Mr. Goller, helping develop New York City for the company. Paul Angelarmy runs the company, and I'm very much at home. They gave me a beautiful office.
Speaking of home, let's talk about you and Barbara have 3 wonderful children. Tell me their names.
Oh my God! Yes, we're very fortunate.
The oldest is a dear friend, somebody who I really love, Mark.
My dear son Mark, who I think today is 53 years old.
Married to?
Married to Hope, and has 3 beautiful children, Amanda, who is 23, and Rachel, 21, and Robbie, who was at Indiana, coming home today. Both the girls live in the city. Both the girls are in the marketing end of the garment businesses, 2 different businesses.
Okay, so let's talk about Gary.
And Gary is, graduated with a PhD in clinical psych from Furkoff at Einstein. Runs an organization for children up in the Washington Heights, and helping children who are single parent, no parents, suicidal, at an armory up in...
and then what about, last but not least, Jill?
Yeah, my gem, my little sweetheart. Jill worked for me at Forest. She was fabulous. And she's married to Brad, and she has Allie and John. Everybody talks about their grandchildren, and you can't get over it, but they're a wonderful family.
I've known you over 30 years of my life, at least.
Yes, we have known.
Okay, and you've been a wonderful mensch. I can't say nicer things about the family, and I'm so happy that you were on the show today.
Thank you so much. I so appreciate it.